here in hospitality? And what is the standard of cricket and people? What is your experience in Pakistan?
Oh, firstly, it's been an incredible experience to be a part of this tour. Obviously, a historical tour after so long that an Australian team hadn't been here. Hospitality has been amazing. The way that we've been looked after, the facilities. We can't really fault the tour. So it's been an amazing experience and one that we'll remember for a long, long time. In terms of the standard of cricket, Pakistan in Pakistan are always a handful in their own conditions. So the standard's been really, really high, and we've seen some emerging greats playing on this tour. In particular, obviously Babar Azam, who's done an incredible job in the one-day series to really make it difficult for us to conjure up a series win in that area. But the standard of cricket's been amazing on both sides. Really proud of the way that our team's gone about it. But also, obviously Pakistan and the spirit the series has been played in has been one that I haven't seen before.
Louis Cameron.
Hey, Ronnie, just wondering if you could give us an update on availability for this game, and particularly the two lads who had COVID.
Yeah, certainly can. So I got an update sort of about 30 minutes ago. So they've returned their first negative test, which is fantastic. So in the next couple of hours, they'll do another test, and if that comes back negative, they'll be free to train this afternoon. So it'll really be about getting eyes on both Josh Inglis and Ashton Agar. They were in our last T20 setup against Sri Lanka. So depending on how they sort of front the training, move about, we'll sort of communicate with them around what it might look like for the possibility of playing tomorrow. But both seem in pretty good spirits. Both are well. All their symptoms have gone away. So and obviously they've turned that negative test. So we're hopeful and optimistic that they'll be available for selection in full.
And just on the squad in general, Andrew, I think there's only three maybe from that World Cup final win a few months ago now. Who are the guys who mightn't have otherwise got an opportunity if you're at full strength, who are you looking forward to blooding, I guess, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity for a few players, and we saw that in the back end of the Sri Lankan series as well, with some players taking a little bit of time off there as well. So yeah, there'll be some players that get some opportunity. Obviously, Travis Head's put his hand up through one-day format as well, with that ultra-aggressive play at the top of the order. So he's someone that's likely to come in and get a game. We've got Nathan Ellis and Sean Abbott that have also done some good stuff in the one-day arena as well in the last three games. So, yeah, we'll sit down. We'll try to pick the best 11. Who the opportunities are given to will depend on who we're predicting to be in the opposition, and we'll plan and prepare the best we can. And as I said, it's a great opportunity for those players that otherwise may not have been selected if we were at full strength.
Wahid.
Right. Andrew, good morning. And first of all, very warm welcome to be here. What do you think if we want about ODI? Is due factor and the task given the edge to Pakistani side? And second thing, what will be the strategy of Australian in T20 if you guys are win or lose the toss? Thank you.
I haven't seen the surface yet for tomorrow's game, so yeah, I'm not sure what we'll do at the toss, and that'll be up to the captain. He's the one out in the middle. But look, there was a little bit of due factor in the one days, but by no means was that a significant bearing on the result. We had a great opportunity in game two to close that one out. We weren't quite good enough. We outplayed in certain areas of that game, but as you saw in the first game, we won that we won that game batting first. We were in a good position batting first in the second game. Would we have wanted to chase? I think Aaron Finch was really clear after both tosses, or all three tosses, sorry, that we would have preferred to chase.
Mel.
Andrew, I'm sure you would have been disappointed if we hadn't asked you about the coaching position. So I just wondered, have you, well, first of all, do you want the job? Have you spoken to anyone? And if you have spoken to them, whether or not you've had a chance to sort of articulate your feelings about the structure of how it might look going forward, because I know that you from our previous conversations, you're a bit concerned about the demands of the job across all three forms and its current incarnation.
Yeah, I have spoken to people at Cricket Australia now. So obviously the congested test series didn't allow that, but with a few more gaps in amongst this one-day series, I've had the opportunity to speak to Cricket Australia. Whether that then becomes a follow-up conversation, we'll wait to see. It'll be pretty much like the other people that have no doubt spoken to Cricket Australia as well. So within that, there was no sort of great detail or clarity on what the role would look like. So that's probably something that will be built in the next few steps, however many steps there are to the process, Mel. So, but I have spoken to Cricket Australia, so I can be upfront around that, yeah.
Right. And do you want the job?
Do I want the job? As I said before, it depends on what it looks like, how Cricket Australia see the job unfolding and looking like, and probably get more detail and clarity on that moving forward.
Right. Thank you.
Hey, we could do a practice run now, Ron. What would you, ideally, how would the job be structured in your eyes? Would you be willing to tell us that?
In my eyes, I mean, it'd just be an opinion. So I don't really want to openly share what I think the job should look like, so that might sort of put people in difficult situations through the process. So I think once the process is done, then I'm happy to talk about what I think it should look like. If I don't have the job or I do have the job. So I think that's something for later on down the track. So I don't really want to weigh into it while that sort of process is going on, if that's okay.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thank you. Respect that.
Alex Malcolm.
Hey, Andrew. Just wanted to ask you a pretty predictable question about Aaron Finch. You've been here before with him. How are you feeling about where he's at? How's he feeling? What are the things you're looking into re his batting? You've done a lot of work with him one-on-one. What are the things you've identified out of this one-day series and heading into tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, he's disappointed with his current form. There's no doubt about that. And, obviously that plays out on the big stage. But, yeah, currently probably not moving the way that he wants to move in terms of his mechanics. And I'm sure that the commentators and those who have been watching have probably critiqued that. Probably not moving as we would like him and he would like him to be moving. So, yeah, that's something that we probably need to rectify. And he's working on it at training. So it's like anything. We've been down this path before. Sometimes he can sort of get his legs crossed over a little bit and get a little bit too much weight on that left leg. So, it's not an uncommon thing. So hopefully we can work through it, albeit, the time frames in between these games over here haven't created, I suppose, the time that you would like to go work on that. But, yeah, common theme creeping in there, but something that he's been able to work through before, and we're really, really confident that he'll be able to work through that as his career continues.
Barat.
Thanks. Good morning, Andrew. Not to harp on the coaching topic, but just your experience this time around of being an interim head coach of a test series, especially one that lasted, all 15 days and finished in the end with you guys on top. Like, what did you enjoy about it? What did you learn about your own self as a head coach?
I think any time that you're working as a team of coaches with the players and with the greater staff, it's always an enjoyable experience. So can't speak highly enough, as I said before, of this tour and the hospitality and the way that sort of Pakistan and Cricket Australia put this tour together. So it's been an incredibly enjoyable experience, albeit we would have liked the test series to probably unfold a little bit quicker than what it did. But, to win that on the 15th day over 3 test matches was an incredible achievement by the players. And, as a coaching staff and a backroom staff, we'll, delighted to be a part of that. It's been an enjoyable experience. A lot of the players are familiar in terms of, having worked in the environment for sort of 2.5, 3 years anyway beforehand. So a lot of the relationships are still the same. So the experience in terms of, what happens in the background is very similar. As you said, to be able to work with Pat and probably have more impact in leading certain areas has been an enjoyable one.
Thanks, Em.
So we've got one last one here, guys. Louis Cameron.
On a similar theme, Andrew, is there anything? I know you've been, head coach of a team before. You've been around international cricket for a few years. Was there anything new or surprising or eye-opening about coaching at this level, being the head coach at this level?
I think, it's just different challenges, isn't it? I mean, the people in front of you change from team to team, the situations, the coaches that you're working with, the staff that are around you. So that's probably the different experience from team to team. But, I think if you talk to most head coaches, the head coaching role takes on a similar path in most environments, albeit that this one's probably a fraction more heavily scrutinised. So that's probably the main difference.
Another one's crept in here. Back to Mel.
Andrew, just back on Finch. like he had a reasonable big bash. He had a decent big bash, but his sort of international scores look pretty lean, like 8 single-figure scores and a top score of 35. Does he have to sort of show something on the Tour of Sri Lanka to be able to maintain his position for the sort of T20 World Cup? Or do you think that given all he's done and given it's sort of only, 6 or 8 months away, that would be a given that he would lead Australia into the T20 World Cup?
Oh, from my end, there's no conversation around the fact that he won't be there. So, as I said before, his form can ebb and flow like most players can. And, his ability to work through these patches has been significant in his career. We had the same conversation about David Warner leading into the T20 World Cup last time. So all these conversations are going to happen. Do we think he's still good enough to play at this level? 100% yes. And I think that's as simple as it gets for us. And, we're building a team around him as a captain. So it's a pretty significant pillar to be discussing about not being at a T20 World Cup. So, from our end, we think he can still play at this level 100%.
Yeah. Thank you.
Another one left here, guys. Brett.
Thanks, Cole. And just on Mitch Swepson and just the tour he's had, there was so much build-up about his Test debut and he's waited so long. And doesn't, at least based on numbers, hasn't had the best of tours, Test cricket or white ball. So where is he at and how would you just judge how he's gone on this tour?
I think you've got to give some context around how difficult it was for spinners on the Test tour in particular. First innings impact was very rare for any spinner, and you had to, it was attritional cricket, and you had to work for your wickets. We were really happy with the way that he bowled. We were really happy with the way that he contributed to the attack and allowed the attack to function in the way that it did. So people look at positions in isolation, they look at performance in isolation, but we look at it as a collective, and the 5 bowlers plus the part-time bowlers that acted in and around that attack all played their role. And, it didn't look out of place at this level in terms of what he was able to produce. One-day format, probably opportunistic in the fact that, Agar and Zampa would have been playing together in those 3 games. So it was an opportunity probably that he didn't see coming. He was a late sort of call-up for the tour, and we asked him to stay behind, which we're grateful for him staying behind, and he got an opportunity through Ashton Agar's COVID. So he would have learned a lot about one-day cricket, a format that he hasn't played a lot of in the last few years as well domestically. So it was a big ask. But, once again, first game didn't look out of place. Second game held his own, and we just changed the structure of the team for the third game. So that wasn't really a direct reflection of his performance.
Thank you.
Awesome. That looks like the last question there, guys. So thanks very much for joining us this morning, and we'll catch up with all of you guys tomorrow after the game.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew.